And I just named it Vince Lombardi. But John Adams said this about authority. He said, because power corrupts, society's demands for moral authority and character increase as the importance of the position increases. Then his son said this a little bit later. He said, the natural liberty of man is to be free from any superior power on earth, and not to be under the will or legislative authority of man, but only to have the law of nature for his rule. So we have this conflict going on, and all of us have it to one degree or another. On the one hand, we would rather sometimes have someone tell us what to do. We would rather. It's easier. We don't have to figure it out. But even when we're of that mindset and we would like someone to tell us what to do, when they do, we still resent them. Somewhere, sometime, it gets to be, we just don't, we have these bad feelings about it. And on the other hand, we want to just be natural men and women and just be out there and have no rule over us whatsoever. Well, this idea of group conscience, the idea of surrendering to what's best for all, that's the thing. And you know, it's proven over and over again that you can make a bunch of laws, and some people are going to follow them because they're afraid of the consequences for not following them. But the ones that we really have to worry about aren't going to follow them no matter what. And some of us aren't going to follow them because we think they're stupid. Sometimes we're not going to follow them because we think we know better. It doesn't apply to us. This is like a big thing. This is like a big thing. I can remember, I don't know how many times I've been told that. You think the rules don't apply to you. I know. It's a problem. So sometimes there is comfort in law and order, but it ends up being tyranny. It ends up being too easy to use the fear that people have of others. And the only reason that we have the fear of others is because we think that they're separate from us. We think that they're in competition to us. And they think the same thing. And so, yes, I'm not suggesting that people don't do bad things. And that, you know, we might need to be aware. What they used to tell us at UPS, Tommy, they say, be aware of your surroundings. Right? Be aware. So we do. We need to be aware of our surroundings. We need to just be paying attention, right? But regardless of whether it's a dangerous character or not, we need to know in our hearts that somewhere in there is our brother or our sister, and that our efforts would be to help that come forth. Again, not letting them get into our pocket, because that's not helpful either. I mean, being this way in mind, it's not helpful to let someone just actually do things that are not for the common welfare and just say, well, he's deep within, he's a good guy, so it's all right. No, we call him on it. We say, no, we don't do it this way, right? But then we don't hold it against them. And this is how to keep the sense of community. And we also should recognize that everybody is not going to cooperate. This is like really important to know that everybody's not going to cooperate. And even like in the example that I was giving before about when we get together and ideally everybody surrenders their opinion and so that we can work together and come up with the best solution, somebody's not going to do it. Maybe today everybody's going to be fine. But somewhere along the line, somebody is not going to cooperate. Now, I'm going to suggest that the reason that they're not cooperating is because they have some kind of misconception about what's happening. And that what we need to do is be diligent. We need to persevere and just keep working with them. So in other words, what I'm saying is, if we have a group of people that are gathered together to make a decision for an organization or for a company, for a family, and everybody doesn't agree, let's not do anything. Let's just stop for a minute. We'll say, okay, you know what? Because since a loving God is not expressing and we can't come to unanimity, let's just not do anything for right now. We'll revisit this next week, next month, tomorrow, whatever, right? Just let it go. We'll just let it percolate. Now, sometimes there are timelines involved, and we are forced to make a less than perfect decision. It just happens. I mean, there's like a contract has to be signed by a certain date. A bill has, whatever, things have to happen. And so in that case, then we may have to force a decision. But we should know that if we have to force a decision, it really wasn't the best way for it to happen. Now, so you say, well, what's the difference? What is the difference if the contract has to be signed and we got this timeline and one person doesn't want to sign it for whatever reason, but we got to get it done, and then we we force it to happen. We go ahead and take a vote and we sign the contract. What's the difference between that and everybody agreeing? Well, the difference is unity. The difference is now we've got one person who believes they're on the outside. We've left someone on the outside. So the best course is always going to be try to bring everybody along. Even though the outcome of the contract signing is the same, now we've got someone who perhaps next time is going to be obstinate again. And we're pushing them out. So all I'm saying is all these things we need to try to bring people in. And this is the whole point of the spiritual journey that we're on, is to realize that heaven can't happen for us alone. And I say this, I think I say this like at least once every 3 months. And somebody still, because of our indoctrination, people still get like they open their eyes. So I'm just going to say it. There is no personal salvation. There's no such thing as personal salvation because there's no such thing as an individual person. We are all together. And the only way that we're all safe is if we're all safe, which is what salvation means. So what I'm saying is heaven is not an exclusive club. We can't go in without the person that we're trying to keep out. Even if you think about heaven as just being a psychological state of mind, okay? If you think about it as being something that happens somewhere along a spiritual path or somewhere after a lifetime or whatever, what I'm suggesting, I can't prove any of this, all right? What did the Buddha say about this? Don't accept anything I say that doesn't make sense to you. This is right, you got to come to it. But what I'm suggesting is that anytime we hold somebody out, which is what this is all about, anytime we hold somebody on the outside, that means we can't go either. We've got to find a way to say, come on, we're in this together. We're all in this together. All right, there's something. Oh, here's what Galileo said about this authority thing. He says, it vexes me. Think about how long ago this is. But he was always in trouble. The guy's always in trouble. It vexes me when they would constrain science by the authority of the scripture and yet do not consider themselves bound to answer, reason, and experiment. And so what he is saying here is, he is actually saying that you shouldn't just accept things at face value. He was saying for any kind, and you've seen the bumper sticker, been out there for years, says question authority. Question authority. We do need to go by what makes, because see, this is what's going on. Spirit is speaking within us. Spirit is guiding us if we just relax for a second. And this is why it's so important to release the whole thing about my way is the right way. Because when I'm in that kind of a mode, then I can't hear Spirit speak. And Spirit needs to speak in me so that I can let that out into the group, and it needs to speak in everybody else. So Spirit speaks, and I need to listen to that, and not take. So here was the quote. The scriptural quote was, "The spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. The letter of the law killeth. The spirit gives life." And this is the way we need to take everything in. So it looks like, and this happens in organizations all the time. We've got all these rules. We got rules, policies, procedures, all these things written down that happened for a reason at some point in time. All of a sudden, one day, those policies and procedures are not going to be, everything has an expiration date as far as those kind of things. And if we're not open to see that it's expired, we're going to continue to become less and less effective in whatever endeavor that we are involved in. So let me finish with this. You've heard this theme before. I am not the boss of anyone. Let us hereby release all authority over other people. Let go of expectations. A sense of personal control over others is a dangerous illusion and leads to many unfortunate consequences. Let the prisoners go and let them be. Know that our responsibility is to serve in whatever way will facilitate the common welfare. In this way, we will teach that which we ourselves need to learn. Today, let us extend love to teach love. We can be peaceful to teach peace. There is no need for us to manipulate or coerce others to do anything. We will not be fulfilled by how many people do our bidding, but rather by how many we can help. Today, we can release any sense of personal authority into the care of that power greater than our small selves. That's enough.